and ultimately change their lives. So let's start from the beginning. Science says that we think about 60 to 70,000 thoughts in one day. The problem is that 90% of those thoughts that you think on a daily basis are the same thoughts as the day before. So if you believe in the idea that your thoughts have something to do with your life or with your future, if 90% of the time your thoughts are the same, then your life will stay the same, because the same thoughts always lead to the same choices. The same choices always lead to the same behaviors. The same behaviors create the same experiences, and the same experiences produce the very same emotions. And those same emotions influence your very same thoughts. And your biology, your neurocircuitry, your neurochemistry, your hormones, and even your gene expression is always equal to how you think, how you act, and how you feel. And how you think, how you act, and how you feel is called your personality. And your personality creates your personal reality. That's it. That means then that the present personality called you has created the present personal reality called your life. Not your parents, not your ex, not your children. You create your life. So if your personality creates your personal reality, and you wanted to create a new personal reality, a new life, that means you're going to have to change who you are. You're going to have to change your personality. And that's exactly the first process of change, because you're going to have to start thinking about what you've been thinking about and change it. You're going to have to become conscious of your unconscious habits and behaviors and modify them. Then you're going to have to look at certain emotions that keep you connected to the past, and you're going to have to decide, do these emotions belong in my future? And I think one of the biggest problems that I discovered in the process of personal change and transformation is that most people try to create a new personal reality as the same personality, and it doesn't work. You literally have to become someone else. So there's a principle in neuroscience that says that nerve cells that fire together wire together, which means if you keep thinking the same thoughts, if you keep making the same exact choices as you did yesterday, as you keep demonstrating the same behaviors or talking in the same way, if those behaviors lead to the same experiences that stamp the same networks of neurons into the same pattern, all for the familiar feeling called you, and you've done that, just conservative here, the last 10 years, the constant firing and wiring begins to hardwire your brain into a very finite signature. And that finite signature in the brain becomes your identity, your personality. And by the time we're 35 years old, those constant firing and wiring begins to reproduce the same level of mind. And like a box in the brain, we become a series of memorized behaviors, unconscious emotional reactions, automatic habituations, hardwired attitudes, beliefs, and perceptions that become like a subconscious computer program. In other words, when you've done something so many times or repeated an action, made the same choice, keep creating the same experience over and over and over again, the brain begins to create a software program where you can do it more automatically. And by the time we're 35 years old, we become a set of memorized programs. So now, that's 95% of who you are by the time you're 35 years old, a set of programs. So then, when it comes time to change, most people are using 5% of their conscious mind to go against 95% of what they've memorized subconsciously. This becomes a problem because you can think positively all you want. You could say, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm healthy, I'm healthy, I'm abundant, I'm abundant, I'm abundant. You could say that with the 5% of your conscious mind, but the problem is the body may be programmed into something else. And when you're saying, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy, your body's saying, no, you're not. You're miserable, you're unhappy. So that thought never gets past the brainstem to influence the body because the mind and body are in opposition. So then it makes sense then that new thoughts, new information, when you learn something new that leads to a new way of thinking, should lead to new choices. New choices, when applied, should lead to new behaviors. New behaviors then should create new experiences, and new experiences should create new feelings and new emotions, and those new feelings and new emotions should inspire new thoughts, and that's called evolution. So then your brain is a record of the past. It's an artifact of everything you've learned and experienced to this moment. So most people then, when they wake up in the morning, the first thing they do is they start to think about their problems. And those problems are memories that are etched in the brain that are connected to certain people, certain objects, certain things at certain times and places. And the moment they begin to think about their problems that are memories from the past, they're thinking in the past. By the same means, because they've experienced those problems, every one of those problems has an emotion associated with it. So the moment they think about their problems and they start to feel unhappy, they start to feel discouraged, they start to feel anxious or fearful, now their body's in the past, because thoughts are the language of the brain and feelings are the language of the body. And how you think and how you feel creates your state of being. So I say that if you're not being defined every single day by a vision of the future, then you're left with the memories of the past and you will be predictable in your life. Now think about this. A person who's remembering their problems and firing the same redundant circuits in their brain every single day, they're not conscious they're doing this, and they're waiting for the feeling of unhappiness to hit their body. Their body is so objective, it does not know the difference between the real-life experience that's creating the emotion and the emotion that person is fabricating by thought alone. Their body is starting their day, in a sense, believing it's in the same past experience